Ohlins DH38 that I got from Pink Bike. This is a very different setup. It's got a 58mm offset crown versus the 46 on my old Boxer. Preliminary ride on the parking lot. Suspension feels off balance because the damping is so heavy on this. The back feels like now it's sagging too much. Today I'm going to bracket in. I always start on the jumps first since that's my priority. I gotta see if I need to turn the compression up. This is only halfway on low speed, and I'll see if I notice any discernible difference on a 58mm offset fork versus a 46. I'm only running 30% sag. 30mm of sag. That's like around 15%, which is what I normally run. I like to run the fork a little firmer. Setup is exactly how I set up my RX F36. Pretty much on the money for the main air chamber and maxed out the ramp up. Balance between front and rear suspension here. Feels not bad. No, the front does feel a little softer than the rear. How strange. I did not realize my camera got moved, so the footage is pretty much unusable except for the jump line. Enjoy looking at the ground. Luckily, this is a narrative heavy video, so it's not a complete waste. I sped it up 2 more, so now it's leaning on the faster side. Let's see how this thing pops now. Yeah, it's way more in control. That too made a difference. Oh yeah. Now it's plush. Oh yeah. Okay, so now I just closed the low speed on the fork. That felt really stable, but it feels like now this feels even more. Yeah, that's more like it. You know, that jump, it's kind of fucking weird. All right. Big jump line. Hey, this thing jumps better than the other fork. Trying orange. I think I had the setup dialed pretty decently from the jump line. Let's see how close I can get to my record. So why did I change my fork? You could even argue that the bike looked better with the red fork on the 21 Boxer Ultimate. Initially, it was really more for vanity because everything is a 38 and beyond millimeter fixed stanchion, and the old 35mm stanchions on the Boxer just made me feel so insignificant. I would even say less like a man. So it really is a vanity thing. I do have an RX F38M.1 Ohlins on the hardtail. I know that it will be an upgrade because I had it, a Lyric Ultimate, which is basically the smaller version of the Boxer. The damping and the spring rate and the spring curve is very similar to each other. It's just longer on the Boxer. The characteristics of the fork is, after it's been dialed in, after the initial quarter of the stroke, the front wheel tracks the ground.
Sniper route. There goes my run.
Basically, it doesn't have that pitter-patter, pogo springy feel that RockShox have, especially from that generation of forks where it just goes like pitter-patter, pitter-patter. Bikes compose, but it really feels like a holding, like a massage gun almost, where you feel it fluttering, but it's not rough. The Ohlins, once that initial stroke settles, the tire floats over all of the undulations in the ground, the rocks. I don't feel the sharp edges on those rocks that I was rolling down. Low speed, I don't notice it. High speed, I definitely don't notice it. Whereas you can kind of feel what the shape of the rocks are when I have the Boxer. Another thing is while it's tracking the ground, there is so much support that it will get off the ground if you just push a little harder. So you can be like in a rock garden, you're so composed, and you need to just hop something, you literally just push extra hard and the bike goes up in the air. You know, I had to run the rebound a little bit, 2 clicks again faster than the middle, and the bike just pops. This fork is definitely next level. Like, I was not expecting it to be that good. The difference between what this is to the Boxer is even greater than what the RXF36 is to the Lyric Ultimate.
You know what? Bike felt great. Definitely feels, I noticed something for sure with the 58 offset. It just wants to like come around more. I might have been able to save that with the 46. But as of now, it's not that bad. It definitely turns a lot better. Seems to hit the berms with more authority. Gotta hike back up.
Also, the distance between the stanchion tubes on the Boxer is very close. The range on the steering is so limited. Like, when you're trying to track stand, you just feel the fork stoppers or the fork bumpers hitting the frame. With the Ohlins, I can actually almost turn the bars all the way to one side before the fork bumpers contact the frame. I don't know how much of it is also due to the 58mm offset, but initially I had no intention of even trying the 58mm because the bike came with a 46mm offset. My hardtail has a 46mm offset. What the lower offset number means is that the bike wants to self-center and it just wants to go straight. If you want to change directions, it has to be very deliberate. The bike has to be leaned. That's kind of, in fact, that's how I like to ride. But riding the 58, because I wanted to give it a try before I go buy new offset crowns, I have gained so much steering, and in certain parts of the trail you saw, I was being very careless, got knocked offline, and I was able to change direction mid-corner, which was something that I could never do before. Once it was like, it like settled in, you kind of have to just ride out the corner. Now that could also be a double-edged sword because on Orange, the bike kind of just got tossed offline because it followed like a weird route and I could not control it. Now,
yeah, it definitely wants to call.
I'm not going to 100% blame it on the offset because, as you saw from the video, there's wet leaves while there's loam. It's also very wet roots from the thunderstorm the night before.
Like all things.
But
Seems to be a give and
I
take.
think with decent grip or decent traction, it should be very easy to change directions, even though when you're tired, you probably will need to focus to keep the bike in line.
I don't even feel that.
But overall, I'm going to keep it on for now before I try. But if I was to get another ground steer, I might do a compromise and do like 50mm offset.
Whoa, that saved it. I was trying to. Okay, so that's the advantage of the 58. Got thrown offline trying to pre-hop a rock. Being lazy. Feels like you're either locked in a line, be super stable, or you kind of just go. My God, this fork completely woke this bike up. It's making me take lines and cutting stuff I would never attempt back then.
And regarding how much travel I have left and how little sag I am running, I really don't feel like I'm hitting a wall of progression when I land big hits. I landed the big jump pretty deep on the jump line, and I landed into that pile of roots. I definitely don't feel the need to lower the air pressure just so that the fork will use more of its travel. I think using 165 mil out of 200 for that type of terrain and that type of riding is more than reasonable. So yeah, I love how it rides high in the travel. That's pretty much like the Ohlins characteristics. Doesn't affect the geo, it keeps you propped up.
Yeah, it's not getting deflected.
That's why I chose this over any other fork. The fork is also very supple. It's even more supple the way it is compared to my RXF36M.2 with the negative volume spacer removed from the air spring. So that was actually a really big surprise that, I guess just naturally there's so much more air volume in the air spring on the dual crown fork versus the single crown. But yeah, this thing is pretty much like absolutely no complaints with the way it rides.